our little intro music. Welcome to the Hello Hair Pro podcast. My name is Todd.
I'm Jen.
I'm Gabi.
And we're here with our first guest ever
Woohoo!
on the show, Gabi. Welcome.
Hello.
Very exciting.
So, let's actually start with having you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, how you got here.
So I started cosmetology school in high school, actually. Yeah. I had like a 2-year vocational program.
That's cool.
Yeah. My sister kind of got me into it. She doesn't do hair anymore, but she did. Yeah, and then I took a year off. I worked at Sally's for a little bit. And then I started cosmetology school for I think it took me 2 years.
Where'd you go?
Barely went to school. I went to Empire in Hooksett, New Hampshire. And then I worked for a little bit at Supercuts. I started Supercuts in high school, actually, as a receptionist. I worked there for 3 years. And then, what else did I do? I've done a lot. Then I went to barbering school. And I finished barbering school. Worked at another salon in Rochester, New Hampshire. And then I found Hello.
Perfect. And here we are. So what's our first topic today?
So Gabi had said a while back she was excited to come on the podcast to give some information out there for stylist barbers getting into the industry or in the industry that might not be feeling fulfilled where they are, and kind of give them some insight to her journey that kept her going and why she is still doing hair today. I think most stylists' career, they say, are between 3 and maybe 4 years, and then they're done. So I think this is an important topic.
Which is awful.
It's really horrible.
Can you imagine investing $20,000?
2 years of your life.
2 years of your life.
And trying.
Bouncing around a few salons, being miserable enough to give that up.
Yeah, and I think some of her story we'll get into, I feel a lot of people in this industry are going to be able to relate to. Hopefully it will inspire them, and if anything, get them maybe to figure out their path so that they can continue to do what they love to do, if they love to do it.
Very cool.
One of my first questions for Gabi was, I didn't even know that you went to the tech school in high school, but did you always think you were going to do hair?
No, I actually wanted to be a vet for a very long time.
Like Dr. Oakley up in Alaska?
I don't even know who that is.
She's cool. You should check
Do you
her
have
out.
Disney Plus?
I think so.
So, Dr. Oakley, we watch it all the time. Check it out.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Anyways, I digress.
Where are we at?
If you always knew you wanted to do hair.
Oh, no, I actually had no interest in it. My sister, so she started the vocational program before me. She's 4 years older than me. And she just always kept pushing me, do hair, do hair, do hair. And I wanted literally nothing to do with it. I thought it wasn't the career for me until pretty much my freshman year. I would always hang out in the cosmetology room before class. And that's when I kind of saw how it could be and everything. And I'm like, well, this could be a lot of fun. During that also, I bleached the heck out of my hair and ruined it. So I had to figure out styles and everything to make it look better. And where am I at?
And did that kind of keep you where you were like, I maybe
Yeah,
like this?
it kind of pushed me oh, maybe I could be kind of good at this.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
And you are.
Really good at it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So you got started, and your first salon that you worked at was?
Supercuts.
And give us kind of your opinion and story with that.
So I started at, so there's 2 locations in Concord. That's where I went to high school. I started at one location just as a receptionist. Not the place I wanted to be. It's just finding a salon. I feel you have to vibe with the people. And if you don't vibe with the people, then it's not going to work.
Agreed.
So then I did transfer to the other one. And honestly, I think if I didn't go to Supercuts, I wouldn't be the stylist I was. So then I was this receptionist for
How come? Can you explain?
Yeah. So
Because I feel like we were talking about this, but Supercuts kind of gets a bad rap.
it gets a awful rap. Rep?
Rep. Todd?
Reputation, right?
Reputation.
Rap.
Yeah.
Rap.
But I feel like everyone says rap.
I think, yeah.
Should we start rapping?
Anyways, we should start a rap group after this. Once we're famous YouTubers, we'll start a rap group.
I think that I think that Supercuts is just a good place to start. Have it not be your end goal though. And that was my mindset like through the 3 years of working there, was to be a receptionist, get me through cosmetology and barbering school, get the training to cut hair, and then move on. It was never my end goal, but I think the training they have, it's like a 5-day program. It really like teaches you on how to cut hair in a way that actually makes sense. I find that in cosmetology school, I still don't even know how they cut hair. It's such a weird way they do it, and it just doesn't make any sense.
So is it like it's really systematic? Like
Yeah.
it's laid out like a procedure?
Yeah, like
Okay.
every single haircut, you go through the same exact thing.
That's
like
how I learned
short
in
or-
barber school.
Yeah,
So that makes sense to
yeah.
me.
I completely agree with that because over owning Hello, have met a lot of stylists coming out of cosmetology school, and the biggest weakness I see currently is haircutting.
Yeah.
So, and I think they say, I don't know what the number is, but you have to do so many haircuts, they say, to like actually like screw them up to like get better at it.
Yeah.
So I feel the other part of Supercuts, and I don't think this is bad, is I think people go in there with an expectation that they're going to get an okay haircut. So as long as you can fulfill the okay part, you're good to go. So I don't think like the expectation is this high end thing, and it allows you to do a bunch of haircuts, get really good at it, build your confidence, and then take that skill set and move on when you're ready.
Exactly.
Which is, I feel, kind of their business model. Like that's what they're there for.
Yeah. I mean, there are people that like,
I'm sure they have some
that's
lifers.
their end goal for sure. Like, because it's hard to, like, once you're at Supercuts, you're making consistent money. There's no like inconsistency with that. So people are like, wow, why would I go somewhere else when I can make guaranteed money every week? And I do get that part.
But there's got to be a ceiling there.
Yeah.
That's the part that's tough. Like it's consistent money, but then what do you do when that's not enough?
Yeah. And it's like consistent money, but like I hated what I was doing.
Yeah.
I wasn't having fun. I was doing haircuts every 20 minutes. Like haircut.
Whoa.
That's the model. I don't know any. I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
I know anything
20
about.
minutes for like a skin fade.
Okay, send it.
Blows my mind. I look back, they weren't good when I did it. But I always say like I had my Supercuts haircuts and I had my barber haircuts.
Sure.
Because they looked so much different. Because I had like endless time when I did barbering. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Somebody right now is at Supercuts and they're like you. They're like, this is just not fulfilling, not fun, not my vibe of people. What's your advice to them?
Stick it out until you feel confident enough to go into the real world. And yes, like the money is amazing at Supercuts, but you can get there. It just might take longer at its full service salon.
I like how you put that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thank you.
So you leave Supercuts and you go where?
I go to a brand new shop in Rochester. Like they didn't even have a sign when I started.
And how did you know it was time for you to leave? Did you just have a feeling like I'm ready for the next thing, or?
It was after COVID. It really found where like Supercuts is a franchise, so like they don't really care about every single person individually. A bunch of the staff got fired because it like couldn't come back. COVID, we got 2 weeks to come back, which was like a whole nother thing. And that's when I realized I'm like, this is my time. If I either get out now or I'm probably gonna be here for a while.
Okay, so are these franchises? They're all like sort of separately owned and operated by like the
Yes.
owner here. Okay,
But the one like it's called HK Enterprises. It's like the big one that like owns
Gotcha.
so many stores.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then you moved on to the shop.
Oh yes. Yeah, it was like a brand new salon. What really got me to go there was it was a barbershop salon. And that's what I wanted. For a while I actually thought I would just do barbering and just get rid of everything I learned in cosmetology school. Thank God I didn't. But yeah, when like I went there, I told them I was rusty in like color because all I knew was school. I didn't do color at Supercuts. And they promised me that I would get the education that I needed. And
did they promise that in the interview or during your time there?
interview,
Okay.
because that was one of my main focuses was I'm rusty in color. I need like a help.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So this is a great topic too, and I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but I definitely posted a blog post about overpromising.
Yes.
I think that happens at a lot of salons and shops, whether it's promising of clients or promising. I just spoke to someone the other day that said they promised me I would be doing, weddings all the time and updos or styling or whatever.
Yeah.
And it turns out they don't have any of those on the books. So, yeah, maybe you can touch on that. Why does that happen?
I don't know.
It's just a bad habit.
It's horrible.
23 years in the business. You
It's
don't
the
know.
worst
You haven't
advice you
figured
could
anything
give.
out.
I'd rather underpromise and overdeliver.
All day.
Just to get people hired.
I guess hired, but then their expectations and they fall flat, and then where are you at? They're just salty about it.
Yeah, I feel like when you have to hold up your end of the bargain. I feel like we're very clear with people on what we have, like 3 rules,
Yeah.
Literally.
and then
Yeah.
like.
It's not hard.
But anyways, I don't want to take over.
So
with
you
that,
start
but
at Rochester, promised that you're going to get this education for color, and what was that experience like for you? And now, how long had you been doing hair at this point? Out of cosmetology school, a couple years?
No, I was out of cosmetology school. I graduated in May. I started there in October.
Okay.
So I wasn't a stylist at Supercuts for long.
Okay.
That's because it was COVID, you know what I mean?
That's tricky too, yeah.
Which is an awful situation in itself.
damn COVID.
Go to Rochester, promised to teach you.
Oh, yes. So there was this new color line. I literally don't even remember what it was called. It was
Okay.
something that I've never heard of before. But it was similar to the color line that we use at Supercuts, which I didn't like. I had nothing about it. There was really no information online where I could even get it. I was handed a pamphlet to read the pamphlet, and then I just go from there. Like, it's crazy, like, how I, like, even, like, how my mind went then. Yeah.
So I'm going to interject again because I feel like you're pretty tough. And I feel like a lot of people would have quit at this point.
Yeah.
So now that 2 to 5 year or whatever you said it was
Is
2
even
to,
less
2 to
at
4
this
year
point, right?
Is like what, a couple of years and you're done?
Yeah.
Because I would have been frustrated myself.
So I don't know to go back, but when you were in hair school, because when I went to hair school, they were like, don't switch salons. Like, once you commit, you have to stay. If you switch salons too many times, you're never going to have a clientele. You're never going to build. So they like made, I feel, me to be scared of that. Now I switched salons like 17 times. So I just was like, cool, thanks for the advice. I'm not taking it. But a majority of people I do feel stay longer than they should because it's almost like, well, if I keep moving, I'm never going to build anyway.
Yeah. I feel like cosmetology school never even pushed us to go to a salon.
Okay.
They pushed us to graduate.
That was it. That was their end game.
That
for you.
was pretty much it. Like, there was never like, oh, this salon is hiring, this salon is hiring. No. It was
Interesting.
I just like once you're out, you're out. I don't care. You gave us the money.
Go ahead. So you're at Rochester, not getting any of the help that you need to grow. Where is your thought process now? Because how long were you actually there for?
I was there from October to like beginning of January.
Oh, so not even that long.
No.
Okay, so you knew pretty much right away, like, this is not.
No, because like half the time
Did anyone else work there?
there was one barber there and he came from a shop in Rochester. Like, always had a full book, always had a full book. So they said that they were going to what's the word? Advertise. They said they were going to advertise for me. And their advertising was posting on their own Instagram. And that's it. They still get 3 likes today on each picture. So it really shows who they are. And they were never there. I was always alone. And I was me and the other barber. And he was just a barber. He didn't know
couldn't
anything
help
about
you.
color. And I would just wing everything. And like, of course, it's kind of like how this goes sometimes, but like winging everything with a color line that I know nothing about. I don't understand how it works at all.
Yeah, and you can't build a foundation off winging it all the time.
No.
I think there's value when you try things and experiment, but not when it's because
You're
no one will help you.
Yeah. And like if I could find, I tried looking online and I just couldn't find anything that like would really explain on how this works because they didn't even know how the color line worked. I think they just liked the idea of having a color line that no one else has. There's a reason why no one else has it. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Okay, so we're frustrated in Rochester. We're not getting any help. Where do you go? Where do you go from there?
So, I did have to stop working there because I found out they were paying me illegally.
I remember this now.
Yes.
I remember talking about this too. No names.
Yes.
No names.
Absolutely.
We
not.
haven't mentioned anything, so
We can beep them out if we accidentally.
Yeah.
So how are you getting paid then? Because I recently we have a coaching call. We're going to help somebody that
From another
salon that we just found out is also getting paid illegally, and she doesn't really know what to do. So how were you getting paid, and how did you become aware that it was illegal?
So I was getting paid. I just got, I think, 50% of all the services I did, but there was no opposite of hourly instead of commission. It was just commission.
Okay.
And
So if you didn't hit your commission, you didn't get paid?
You only got paid on the services you did.
yeah, I would go there. It was a half hour away. I would go there, sit there for 8 hours.
Get $0.
Get
So
no
if
money.
you didn't have clients, you didn't get paid for the time you were there. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Not legal in New Hampshire, by the way.
No, not New Hampshire. I mean, it is if you're a 1099. Oh, wait, was I a 1099?
But I don't think they told you were.
No, I was a 1099. But there was something about that when I filed for unemployment when I got COVID and like the beginning of December. Yeah. Unemployment called them and said they were paying me illegally. I didn't know anything about this. This was like my first like real salon job.
And you're excited.
Yeah, I was excited. I thought this was going to be an amazing experience, you know.
All this education coming at you.
Yeah. Nothing.
And that's hard because now you're at your second salon and you're like, okay, now what do I do? Like, this isn't working out.
Yeah.
And this is where I think a lot of people would probably just throw in the towel or go back. Go back to that Supercuts because that's what they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
That's what they know. And they're like, that must just be where I'm supposed to be at. But yet, like you said, you knew it wasn't to be your end game. But now you're in this like situation where it's like, what's my better choice here? What's my better play? Take another shot at a overpromised salon or go back to what I know that is safe?
Yeah. It was never a thought in my mind to go back.
That's cool.
Thank God.
Because I do think a lot of stylists I've seen do that.
Yes, no, for sure. I've seen it at Supercuts. People would go and then just come right back.
Yeah.
It was never a thought in my mind to go back because I knew that's not the stylist I was.
You had that end game and you're like, I'm chasing that.
Yes.
Cool.
Right before I like got let go, fired, quit. I don't really know exactly how that went. I was emailing Todd.
Okay.
So we were supposed to have our interview, but then I got COVID.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah. So like within a month and a half of working there, I knew, no, this isn't how this is supposed to be. So I started looking again.
Okay. And how did Hello even come into your life?
I was going to ask that too. How did you find us?
I looked up every hashtag that had to do with salons in New Hampshire. And then yours came along, and my favorite color is yellow. So
That's all it took.
added to it.
The universe is sending
Just a little
you
yellow.
signs.
Yes.
That yellow was Todd's pick, so that's good. I love it. Okay, so you're done with Rochester because whatever happens, they let you go. We don't even know. That's okay.
Happens.
Yeah. And you're emailing Todd. And so what stuck out to you about Hello?
Education. The education that you guys provided, like you being in the industry for 22 years, 22, 23? Somewhere around there.
62.
Stop it.
And it really seemed like you guys wanted to take me on and like help me learn in a sense. And I don't know, just like every other interview I ever went to, it was like, yeah, we'll help from here. Like you can watch other stylists, you can do this, but it was never like we have special classes every Thursday to help you out. Yeah.
We actually had like a program.
Literally.
Yeah.
It was not just like, oh yeah, just watch the other stylists. It's like, okay, but like, I don't know what's happening.
And I do believe.
And that's common?
I was going to say, I do believe that's 98% of salons. That's how you learn. Like, oh, just come in and watch other people.
Yeah.
And that's the education that they're providing. And that's what they think is actually education, is just watch the busy stylists and you'll learn. And
Even though they're doing things at speeds that you can't comprehend at.
And at that point, they're throwing it out there like, oh, it's so easy, you can do it. And then you just get even more frustrated because you're like, well, you make it look easy, but no one's helping me.
Literally.
And then you're like, well, do I just suck? But no, I could have you just shadow me for the first 6 months and be like, you'll just learn so much. But you'd probably be like, no, I can't do what you're doing because you're not showing me and I'm not actually doing it. And then having the constructive criticism on the other side.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Which is how we do it. That's why on Thursdays you could bring in a model and whatever you need to work on, we work on that.
Well, I know at your last salon you had a pretty strong education program as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
But that was more of an apprenticeship?
It was just an apprenticeship.
Driven? Okay.
I didn't
So it wasn't for your staff?
No, I left them out hung to dry and to just watch and realized quickly that was not going to be successful.
Cool.
I think it definitely helps watching other people. I don't think you'll
of course.
Get your whole education out of just
I don't
watching.
think where you'll get where you want to be to as quick as you want to be there. And that's sort of that's the part with education. How we do it on Thursdays is you can show up or you can not. Some people have to, depending. That's why we do the technical interview. But it's what do you need to work on and how much do you need to get that done to progress.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So we kind of see where you came in, got hired. So exciting. I actually do remember this interview because speaking of not overpromising, I think on 2 parts, I was like, how many clients do you think you have? You're like, maybe 10. And I was like, because we're still in the middle of COVID at this point and heavily. And
I had to wear a mask today and I was pissed. I put it on.
Oh, you were really
mad. I don't even have one.
I didn't know. Well, no, I had to get it from Jen, a mask. But I was like, I have to go to this place and they're requiring me to wear a mask. What year is it? I thought we were already.
Yeah.
I know we're not done with this, but
that's kind
anyways.
of funny too because in that interview we never even saw each other's faces.
I
didn't
no
know
idea
what you looked like because we're in a mask, right? We're just in a mask, whatever. You're like, I have 10 clients, and I'm like, well, we don't have a ton coming in, so we were very open. Mm-hmm. We don't know how quickly we'll get where we want to be. I mean, you fucking blew it up in 2 seconds, and it was wonderful. And we're way more talented than even you let on. So you under promised yourself. I felt like I was just like, oh, we'll
Agreed.
see. And I'm like, she is killing it, and quickly became one of my faves. So it's kind of neat.
My head's big enough. You're making it bigger.
Quickly, she's quickly became one of my faves. Hopefully, no one else is listening. To
yeah. Sorry, I love all of you near and dear. I may have some favorites.
Yeah.
Even with my kids, I have favorites at different times. Oh my gosh. I won't tell you which ones.
We'll beep that out.
Okay. I'll never want to hear that.
All right. So you interview, you join us. Then what? What, Jen? Where were we going with that?
So I guess now I'm going to say, what's the next step of advice for that stylist that's listening, that's about to give up, and now you've found a place that you vibe with? How do you tell them to keep going? What do we want to give to them?
I think my mindset through it all is this can't be the rest of my life.
I love that.
I'm going to find a place that is what I want. In barbering is what I wanted, and salons, cosmetology is what I wanted. And I just had the mindset of it has to work out. I know that there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stylists that gave up, but I just felt, I don't want to sound
go for it
cocky. I just felt I was too good to not do this anymore.
And you are.
And I had no backup plan.
So you are, to me, why your avatar of you, Gabi, is why Hello was created, because I wanted really a place that we could help those people that the industry needs, should keep going, should not get left behind, and how do we get them to where they want to be and in a good environment with good leadership. Mm-hmm. So that's freaking amazing. I love that. Yeah. So my next one is, I want to hear some advice you would give to owners.
Listen up, owners.
Because it's important, right? A lot of owners, they're just there, they're overpromising whatever they're doing, but maybe they don't really realize what they're doing wrong or what they should be doing.
Yeah. Don't make promises you can't keep. I think would be the number one.
Agreed.
Have the business be your life, not in a sense that 100%, but it can't be always on the back burner. Mm-hmm. I think that there's a lot of salons that whoa, my stylists are making me money, so I don't really care. And kind of how it was in Rochester, I felt I was just there to make them money. They didn't really care where I was at skill set wise. They really didn't. It was just, can you make us money? Yeah.
I know owners that, I wish we could name people, but I'm not going to. I know owners that own salons, I feel like, in my opinion, just to say they own salons.
Yes.
So they go in, they take their clients, and then they leave, and that's it.
Yeah.
Their staff is just there doing whatever.
With whatever rules they set
And that
forward.
sucks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to work for someone like that.
No, it's not fun.
I think those are good tidbits.
Little tidbits.
Little tidbits. What the heck? That's great advice, because I think a lot of owners need to look at their leadership and what they're putting out there. And if you have a miserable staff, or you have these people that aren't happy, rather than just be like, it's on you, meaning on the staff, you need to look within and be like, what can I do to change this? Or ask the staff, why aren't you happy? Like, maybe you can't do everything, but at least have that conversation to see what needs from each person. And then you either decide, nope, my business is run this way, and that's just what you decide. Or you're like, okay, we need to reflect on this and lead in a different direction.
Yeah.
It's super important for people to take ownership
Yeah.
in that role. So I know sometimes it's hard, but when something happens, and I say this to you all the time, I'm like, it's my fault. It's something I missed somewhere. Like, I should have, even if we haven't had anyone like do anything wrong, but if somebody did something wrong, I would be like, well, they didn't know because I didn't tell them.
Yeah.
It's ultimately your job as the leader, owner, manager, whatever the person in charge is to make sure that everyone's set up for success.
Absolutely.
I feel like as an owner, you should know that your stylists, whether they've been in the industry for a year or 10 years, they're still looking up to you.
Right.
In a
You
sense.
want to be led,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, like they're looking up to you, and if you're not doing it the way you know is right, then neither would they.
That's beautiful.
So lead by example sort of thing.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I think so.
I like it.
Agreed. What else? Any other?
No, I think something that Gabi and I had just talked about right before we started, and it was just this, like, don't give up. Like, if you really, like you said, if you really want to keep doing this and you're not happy where you are, you've got to find the right fit for the salon you want to be at, the vibe, the people, all of those things. And if you're truly meant to do hair for a good amount of time, you've got to find that and just keep searching.
Yeah.
And if you need to phone a
don't
friend,
give up.
call Gabi. She'll help you.
Watch some Gary V motivational videos on IGTV.
Too many stylists give up too soon in the career, and then, I don't know, just it's sad.
I feel like
Super talent.
your salon is out there and your clients are out there. It just takes time to find them.
Yes. And then it's so appreciated when you do, too,
Yeah.
right? When you have the right client sitting in your chair and you're at the right salon, most of your days don't feel like work.
No,
It's just
I
fun.
literally never feel like I'm working.
It's just fun.
I'm just hanging
Yeah,
out.
that's how I feel, too. Love that.
Is that a good thing?
I think
I
so.
like it. I like
yeah.
it. Just picking on it.
If I'm
So-
not having fun, I'm not doing it.
No, absolutely not.
Do we have anything else we want to touch on?
I don't think so.
We want to wrap there.
Yeah.
To
So-
wrap it up.
Where can people find you?
My Instagram is hairflowers_, and my Facebook is Gab the Barber.
Perfect.
Love it.
So we'll wrap on that. Thank you, Gabi, for being our first
Thank you.
guest ever.
Thank you.
Don't forget to hit subscribe,
Like, comment,
comment, share.
reach out and tell us what you want to hear.
Yeah. Thanks again, Gabi.